Hi, in this short video I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a non-connected existing Arduino device into an Internet of Things connected device. It really takes very little effort. I was very impressed. So the sequence is really quite simple. First you go to the Arduino Cloud, and the first thing you do is create a new device. So you connect your Arduino ESP32 or equivalent, and you define it here, you add it. And assuming that it's seen by your computer and you've got all the software installed, you will now have a device. Of course, it won't say online yet, it'll say offline. So now you go to Things and you create a new thing. And again, your thing, which I called Monitor Deluxe in my case, doesn't look like this yet. All the sections are there, but they're empty. So the first thing you do is you associate a device, namely the board that you just created, and you set the network parameters, the Wi-Fi SSID, password, and your Arduino secret key. And once you've done that, you can go to the sketch, or indeed to the full editor sketch. I prefer the full editor, it does more. And in that sketch, you can now very simply add your code, because the sketch initially just contains some minor stuff added there by Arduino. You leave that stuff, you don't touch it. Arduino already fills in things like your secret section where you have your SSID and your secret key for your board and so on, so don't worry about that. Leave all the stuff that Arduino puts in there and just from your old code copy and paste all the sections you need, which is basically everything. So I included the includes and declaration section. Again, I left the Arduino initial code, which was just one line. And then the setup, and again I left the Arduino initial code, which is just a few lines. And I added all my regular stuff, the code unchanged. And then the loop, and once again you leave the one line, in this case Arduino code, add your own stuff, and then you verify and save, and you upload that to your board. And guess what? If you've done this correctly, it works immediately. And in my case, it did. It worked first time and no changes made. At that point, once you've done that, you can now go back to your Arduino Cloud and you can add variables, right? So now in your thing, right, Monitor Deluxe, you can click Add and add variables. And I added some variables like web CO2, web humidity, web QNH, web temp, and web uptime. These are the values that I already captured in my original sketch, but I made separate variables for the web. And the reason for that is that I might choose to update the web variables at a different rate than they are measured and updated in the device itself. Also, an added benefit is I don't have to mess with my existing code with all the chance that I'll get something wrong, because I frequently do. Typos are us. And then in the sketch, you very simply add those. So for instance, in the 3-second section of my sketch that I have here, where I normally measure everything, at the end of measuring everything, I very simply add the web variables, excuse me. So that's just 5 lines here. I say, at this point, now that I've measured everything, set the web CO2 to the CO2 level, which I measured in my existing code, set the web humidity to the humidity, which is measured in my existing code, and so on. And once you've done that, you will see that your thing now says it has all sorts of variables. And if you see here, they are indeed updating, they are correct, and they are exactly the same that the device displays. And now I can create a dashboard that displays those in any way that I like. For example, as numbers or as gauges or something like that. Remarkably simple, and I'm very impressed by how well this works and how quickly it was to retrofit this device. It was a very nice device to start with, but now it's even nicer because it connects through the internet. There was really only 5 lines of code needed. One note is, if there is something in your code that is specific to the Arduino that you're using, take that out or comment it out. So I commented out my hardware watchdog section. I'll look at that later, because the hardware watchdog is different for different boards, and so obviously that needs to be changed or commented out. And that's it, there you have it. A device that wasn't connected is now connected with no coding, basically. And here it is, all working, but now internet connected.